Hello, hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Divine and Conquered's ReRoll podcast. Today, we're gonna talk about the question: is D&D cool now? Something that's been in the back of my head for 17 years.
I have the quickest answer to that.
Do you want to just jump to the end and answer the question? What's up? What's the answer?
The answer is yes, because I saw it at Target once.
I have a very complicated answer, and I think it's no, it's not cool, but it is cool to live vicariously through D&D. And I have
another complicated answer, but we'll get to that.
Okay, all right, cool.
We'll get to it when we get around to that topic.
Yeah, we'll jump there. I have 2 pages worth of notes, and I'm reading it, and there's so many red squiggly marks everywhere. I didn't spell check this, and I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, we're gonna jump into that topic. But as we per usual, do any of the players? We have an invisible stalker. Won't mention any names, just to not embarrass them. But we have someone.
Hey.
I wasn't gonna mention any names.
Not invisible, just very, very small.
Just inside a pocket.
Hey! Xbox, thanks.
So we have a Lynn that will chime in where she deems appropriate. We have a Vic and a Dickie who is doing the not double haul. What am I?
Driving like a bat, I held down the road to get home.
That's the extra mile. There we go. Going the extra mile to
on a quest.
Literally, as soon as he was clocking out, turned on Discord to join us for the stream.
Dedication, bro.
Dedication, yeah. I will say, please don't D&D and drive. We've had some players do that, and we didn't know, and that was... Don't roll dice while you're driving. Please. Please, Sonia, it's okay.
Always have a designated roller.
Always have a designated roller.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that's cutting out.
He's going through the demi-plane.
Oh no, he's teleporting in the demi-planes. Oh no.
Lynn, we forgot to move that thing.
Oops. I can only move it 30 feet, I'm sorry.
Grayson, damn it.
No, Grayson's less. Grayson will be 30 feet minus 5 for every trip.
Oh no. Those legs.
The legs. As we per usual, do we want to talk about anything that happened in the last 2 weeks worth of games? Any questions for the DM? I technically already asked my question at the end of the game, which you answered so amazingly. Thank you, Vic. The salad. The salad.
Oh, the Caesar salad?
The Caesar salad.
I love Caesar salad.
I was like, how does Limbo take into effect with this? Is that part of the campaign? Is that something that you integrated?
Did I answer that on the air, or were we off the air?
We were off the air, I believe.
Okay, I can re-answer that then.
I think that's a great DM thing that you did, and I applaud you. So the question is, hey, salads are here. So does Limbo have a part to do in Horde of the Dragon Queen of the Rise of Tiamat campaign? And what is the answer, Vic?
So my answer here is, Horde of the Dragon Queen is a 5th edition module that comes out of the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. So there's like set events and whatnot, but it's just a foundation for you to work off of. You don't have to follow it by the book. If you followed it by the book, in my opinion, it would feel very railroady and there would be no substance to it, because you're just going from point A to point B to point C. And there's not much. I feel there's not much challenge to it that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of like RP and whatnot. It's just here's the mission.
There's hardly any RP potential in that campaign. But since RP is something I enjoy greatly in a D&D game, I have fluffed it.
Yes,
and so
which
because of that,
I appreciate it.
Which I will say. And Lynn, I will say Lynn knows, because I am Lynn's writer for the Alistair comic.
Oh,
so whenever I write something, it's deliberate. Whenever I put something into the world, there's a reason why it's there.
Lynn, what happened? Tell me all the details.
I don't know any of the details. I'm not the writer.
I just draw the stuff that he sends me. I'm not writing this.
Right.
I get the script and I'm like, Vic, why am I drawing this lone shoe without a soul? Just draw it.
Okay.
Just draw it. It'll make sense in like 90 panels.
The issue of the lonely shoe. No, it's a
For us to be like, oh, I forgot that.
yeah, it's a. I mean, modules have their place, but I think that I'm kind of glad / lucky that Vic, you are a heavy role player, because I like to incorporate drama and tragedy into my world. So like it's cool that you guys are into that. And Lynn, the first time you ever spoke about like you prefer, like, I don't give crap about fighting, I like the role playing stuff. I'm like, someone doesn't really like fighting? How? This is Dungeons and Dragons. What do you mean you want to min-max your character? What is this? So I'm like, my people.
None of my characters are built for combat. They're built for storytelling.
I mean, I would argue that Adiposter is a complete tank of a character.
He is, but he's just kind of like, eh.
He doesn't have motivation, which I love. He's just like, I'm here.
So wait,
I'm gonna go talk to these barnacles on the ship.
You guys have fun fighting that thing.
Like, Wes is a tank because, like, I don't think you can play a barbarian and not be a tank. Like, that's kind of how the class works. You hit hard, you take damage. I believe kind of like paladins as well. So does Alistair do a lot of combat? I'm not either like when you played him or when you or for the comic. I don't know if that's going into too spoily details.
I've actually never played him in a campaign, so this will be the first.
The one shot's gonna be the first time.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but he does have like a character trait that he would rather not fight, but if he has to, he will.
Okay.
Like, if his more thing is if they can be like talked down or like have some sort of redeeming thing and they can be saved, he won't fight them. He'll try to not do it. But if he thinks they're beyond saving, he'll chop their head off. Okay.
All right. So he's not a total pacifist.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I did play a campaign where we had a Vow of Poverty and Vow of Peace monk back in 3.5.
Oh God!
AC was like 42, and
oh my lord,
and like could not really attack. But anyone who ever wanted to do anything towards it had to roll a will check and either like be pacified completely or like take a radiant damage just by being around his presence. It was an interesting thing. I am wondering why the heck my computer is struggling so hard to stream when absolutely nothing is running in the background.
I'm so sorry.
It's like, this is a very powerful computer. What are you doing? All right, whatever.
I'm trying to figure out why I, as a person, have hands, but I'm incapable of drawing hands.
That is a quandrum of life, I believe.
I'm actually drawing a hand right now, and I had to like contort my hands to figure out how to do it.
Lynn, we gotta stop meeting like this, because I'm also drawing a hand right now.
Oh no.
We've already discussed this, Vic.
I know. Like, we crawled out of the same cesspool, apparently.
Yeah.
Like there was a tiny little like microbe of a creature that was crawling out of the cesspool, and then it kind of like ripped halfway through, and then they went different directions.
Oh damn!
You got the leg half.
I took the leg half apparently, so Lynn is constantly possessing the brain side.
It's those basketball genes carried over.
Goddamn basketball genes.
So I do have a question for a player here. Somebody who's in the squad fam. Just throwing shade that way. So much shade. I'm the shadiest shader there shade will ever shade.
You are such a shady queen.
I'm such a shade queen. So I think I overheard somebody say that my character doesn't have a reason to be part of the party anymore. Like, Is that going to be something that's going to take effect without ruining too many things?
Who? Okay.
The only
what?
player here. I think I overheard somebody say, "Yo, Alistair has his memories back. Why is he in the party?"
You mean Grayson?
I said the wrong word. Yes, Grayson.
I was very confused for a second.
Alistair, when'd you lose your memories? I didn't write that in.
Like, bro, I had memories.
Bro.
Oh, he has the memory of a goldfish.
Oh.
3 seconds, it's gone.
Sweet child.
Oh, I love him so much. Him and Wes are just gonna enable each other the whole time. It's gonna be great.
Anyway,
But
Yes.
yeah,
So
question.
Lynn.
I don't have plans for him to go anywhere,
Okay.
but as far as like his mindset, he wants to just take his kid home.
That makes sense.
In all, yeah.
His severely
and, like,
traumatized kid.
I don't think he has been able to like actually sit and like talk to Xavier about the reality of what's happening. If he knew like, hey, this is like end of the world apocalyptic shit, and you won't be safe like no matter where you go.
Yeah.
I think that would kick his ass into gear a little bit better. But right now he just wants to leave. Understandably so.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people want to leave the immediate room that we left off in. So
I don't know.
That's a fair
I wanna fight the salad.
you can.
I will.
Okay, Fox.
Counterspell.
Yeah, that was so fucking
Yeah.
choice. A bitch slapped that fireball.
counterspell.
Bitch slapped that fireball.
I feel like Fox had a moment there.
No. That was
No, he did.
That was Fox's like, ooh.
He felt a tingle down that little scorpion carapace.
All the way to its stinger. Oh. Yeah, okay. So I guess, do you guys have any questions for the I guess Second World or Hogwarts Prep before we jump into the topic of the night?
Oh man.
As per usual, we hang out for like 20-30 minutes to an hour and not talk about the stream that we're about to do.
I know it's a thing.
It's gonna be our
So I'm trying to think how to word it.
Yes.
How
I
do
feel
I
like-
word this? Fuck you? No.
Hey man, the standard thing that people always call me out on is like usually my question to you is, "Hey man, what the fuck?"
What? I didn't do anything.
No, you didn't. Okay, so
I can tell you play by play on what happened and
no, I know. Like I'm going through it in my head. So we started at a heck of a predicament, which was mid combat, and then we're still ending mid combat. So that was lot.
The campaign ended mid combat, starting to enter the quote unquote dungeon.
yes.
Yeah.
And now, oh my god! And I just realized that we are only halfway into the entrance of the dungeon.
Technically, only Rognarv is at the front steps of the dungeon. If you call the prison the part of the dungeon, then Rognarv's in the dungeon.
In
man. The dwarves are in the dungeon.
I counted the prison as the dungeon.
So the dwarves are in the dungeon. Everybody else is outside fighting.
Okay. I guess from DM to DM, how do you handle how do you handle a party of players that half of them want to go this way, the other half want to go that way, in the middle of like the shitstorm?
Take
Like,
it
we-
round by round. That's the only way you can do it, in my opinion. I mean, I can give you a more complex answer, but like the real logistics is take it round by round.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I constantly do as a DM is, what was the opponent's initial intention?
Okay.
And then how does the player challenge that intention or react to that intention and keep on doing that? Because it'll be totally easy for me to be like, oh, I'm trying to think of something that's like really far fetched. So like you get the point, like, oh, wow, you totally killed the dreadnought, and I don't know, because it had lava on its shield. I guess it's not coming back. There's no reason for you to be up here. Go to the dungeon. Chip chop chip.
Get to that dungeon, yo, and then.
But no, like the royal we wanted to fight the dreadnought, and there is a death curse. The death curse triggered. Now the dreadnought is a zombie dreadnought. Which is scary, really scary.
Is super scary.
It's super scary, but we did handicap it by minusing 2 AC from it.
Yay! I mean, I that was a pretty. I thought that was like it was a pretty cool move that Cole did.
It was pretty dope. There were so
Freaking
many
knowledge clerics are so nuts.
Yeah, no, I have my thoughts on what could have occurred depending on what route you guys went. The thing that kind of sucked is, which can't be explained right now because can't pull the curtain in spoilers. But the dreadnought did lock up the dungeon, the tower itself, and it died. So the tower is locked.
Yep.
So the tower is now locked.
That could have so been avoided.
I think that who knows what would have happened. Because who does? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But
there's
if you
D&D
guys
is a million probabilities.
Yeah, right. If you guys were to have entered the dungeon completely, ignored the dreadnought after it was commanded to stay put, it would have been an easier entrance into the dungeon. What happens when you come out? I don't know. If I was in your shoes, I'd know what I think I would do, or I would tell hey, this is my suggestion, party. But that's probably a little bit more foreknowledge because I'm the one who wrote it. But yeah, it's a very complicated thing. You're in there to go kill a person who started all this mess.
Yep. Our target is the fire giant king dude, and
who should, if this person is guarding them, imagine their challenge rating.
Right.
They're not.
I remember having that conversation with
pile of lava. Also, think about other things. That I might be too spoiled, but think my only clue would be think about the spells you guys use in combat. How have you guys been treating the curse hints with the spells that you guys used? Maybe some strategies you guys have been using will not work anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very specific, interesting dilemma that I want to see how you guys do, because you guys can do it. I believe in you.
West's current dilemma right now is that Arwell used a word he did not know.
That's true. He did try to explain it by knock it. I don't remember how he said it, but things like
he
knock
said
it down.
Incapacitate.
Yes, and then he's like knock it down. I don't know, hit it hard.
Okay.
You
all I've been doing is hitting it hard, bro.
Role play your bro as best you can.
I just met him. I don't want to incapacitate him.
Bro. Allie, bro, what does incapacitate mean?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Ah, shit.
Does it have to do with the birds and the bees talk?
Is that what incapacitate means?
That is. No, Wes, that is not what it.
I don't know. I don't understand why.
Does Alistair have a babysitter when he goes out in missions for the Brotherhood, or the Brethren? Sorry.
Does he get it? Wait, what was it?
Does he have like a babysitter or a chaperone when he goes out and does missions for the?
He has his trainer, but this is the comic is going to be his very first mission as a knight.
His very first mission without supervision.
Yeah. That's cute. Okay.
His training is finished, and now the manager is stepping off the floor.
How nervous
Training wheels.
are they? That the trainer.
That entire order is like, are you kidding me?
He's not coming back, right?
Oh no!
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Poor boy. R.I.P.
I will say we have a specific scene where he's being knighted, and there are people watching, literally going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they're like, this fucking guy.
Are you kidding me? This mofo right here?
This motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be great. It'll be fine.
He's gonna do his best. He's a young lad with a dream in his heart and determination. He can do it.
I will say it is a very odd coincidence that usually what the Wednesday group does, the Friday group tends to do as well. Like you split the party. Wednesday group split the party too, and I'm having to like bounce back and forth within the maps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did that on Tuesday, but it was my fault. It was just my fault.
I mean, I would say with the our first session when we were on that boat for the Salt Marsh adventure, it was like half of the party went to one side of the ship and then the other half went into the ship. So we already started that entire scenario split.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was a little bit of everyone going, I want to explore the pirate ship.
I want to do this.
And Phoebus was the smart. Oh, I would say I'm not going to say Phoebus was the smart one. He was of somebody with experience of ships going, I'm going to go check the captain's cabin because interesting things are there.
Oh yeah, Phoebus. I forgot who you guys were playing.
Yeah. I am playing a 16-year-old Phoebus starting out.
Oh my.
On his adventures. He's like, I am 16, father. I am practically an adult, so that means I am now leaving the nest to become an adventurer.
I wonder if you two are just going to continue on the Grayson family lineages throughout your campaigns.
Oh God, I don't know.
D&D history. You're like, and this is the great grandson. This one has 7 horns for some reason.
You need to stop looking at my notes.
Yeah, stop looking at our notes, bro. What the fuck?
I mean, like, when you're in the attic and they fall down, I just have to read them. That's what happens. Like, I'm still technically, I'm bunkering down in the studio due to the Backstreet Boys reunion.
No, yeah, the Backstreet Boys reunion.
Yeah.
I will say, on the topic of splitting the party, with the Tuesday Saltmarsh game that we did, everyone was downstairs fighting while my character was vibing with some barnacles he found on the side of the ship.
He was communicating with them. It was great.
Because you're a druid, right? That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay. I play them because I, as the person playing, knows that there's combat going on downstairs, but my character doesn't know. I'm not gonna... Yeah. I feel like that's meta if I have him get up and magically go downstairs to see what's up.
Agreed.
It was a good thing the wizard screamed when she almost died.
Yes, that was literally the only thing that was got him up from his little trance thing. Was.
Short Beard says that they also live here.
Yeah. So he was communicating with the barnacles, and with the barnacles, he was like, "Hey, so what are you doing here?" And the barnacles, being a creature that doesn't have a very high range of intelligence, just says, "I stay here."
My druid's like, "I stay here too."
I was like, "That little dude, I'm gonna just chill here."
Yay!
I can't wait to play a druid because it sounds like so much fun.
I'm very excited to. I've been hearing some this is the idea I have for next campaign, next real campaign. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
You've seen my notes, right?
Yeah, it's not we're probably at halfway point with Sacred World, unless you guys do a dramatic turn. But I'm excited that you guys have an idea and a want for this new world.
Yeah. Well, I would say with my incoming character for the next campaign, I wanted to have a good foundation for him. So I've been fleshing him out and writing out his backstory and figuring out where he fits in this world and whatnot.
So
I do because I don't know what the world's gonna be like and when we're playing.
So I'm like 95% done in the cosmology of that world.
Uh-huh.
And as I was hanging out with the Bae, and I was talking to her, since her background is microbiology, we started discussing like different things and aspects, and like borrowing from different religions, and how like we're gonna make the world work in physically interact with magic. And every single time I said it, he's like, "Oh, so like this theory, or like here, let me get this gigantic textbook. Let's turn to this page. You need to discuss this point if you want to make that point across." I'm like, "Babe, it's like D&D, it's like magic." No,
babe,
fine.
It's just D&D.
Like, she's like, if you're gonna go that route, then you need to explain the Big Bang. Like, oh, well, there was like a war that happened. Well, then you need to explain how this microorganism exists.
Here's
okay.
No. So here's my thing as a writer. Don't do that. Do not over-explain. Do not force-feed your players or anything. Like, don't do that. Just
I believe that the appropriate amount of explanation to a specific topic in the world of role-playing is about a paragraph.
Yes.
4 sentences should be enough to cover, explain, give slight detail, and give enough spark for the actual writer, whoever's DMing your campaign, to go on.
Yes.
I am not writing a novel. Even with the novel, even Stephen King's like, don't over-explain.
Even with the novel, don't do that.
Yeah.
I've been down a road where I was like trying to build like a pantheon, and then in that pantheon I was trying to explain how the universe in itself started, and I just went, you know what? It just exists.
Sure.
Like, don't dig too much into it.
I have a reason on to why it exists, but that's like it. Like, it exists because of this.
Mm-hmm. It exists, therefore it is. So
things are allowed to be a mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There
one of the things that were like I was like spewing to her, which like I'm gonna spew now, is so things like as soon as the first microorganism existed, I forgot what the fuck the correct name is because I'm not a scientist. Like, as soon as that thing came into existence, there came an energy, an archangel or something along those lines of life. As soon as that archangel of life existed, a counter thing had to exist, like the definition or the deity of death. As soon as that thing existed, in this microorganism started reacting with the world, all these different laws and physics and mechanics of the universe existed at the same time, because this is. And because it is, therefore other things have to exist. So now, as an example, like the angel of gravity or some shit like that. I'm not gonna like explain all that into the book, but like those are my notes that are in the back of my head, just in case they have a wisecrack. Cause like, how did this happen? Well, my young people, let me read from the old text here. So like, it is. This is probably like kind of you were saying. I have reasons why, but I think that those reasonings are probably only interesting to me, and I'm kind of a boring guy, so I'm sure
I wouldn't go that far.
Look.
Listen, bro.
I'm so boring.
You're so
boring.
Bro, you're so fucking cool, dude. You're so
Don't
fucking
you
cool.
ever talk that way to me ever
You're
again.
so fucking cool, dude.
Hey, I'm going to jump on this train because I'm super excited for the Alistair one-shot, because when I first started watching DNC, I was like, oh my god, he would be such a neat DM, and now I get to do it!
What? Oh no, don't say things like that. Don't lift up my hopes.
Lynn,
That's
you're
really
doing
sweet of you, dude.
You're living your dreams. This was your dream. You wanted to be in a campaign that Jesus DM'd. Look at you. You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
How did you? How did that come about? You're like, I'm gonna go to Twitch and look at these losers, and like, oh, that loser's kind of a cool loser, I guess. How did that?
It might be my fault.
It is.
I figured.
When like me and Vic didn't know each other.
Yeah.
That's not even how time works. You guys you've always lived inside picture.
Yeah. Lynn's always lived in my pocket. It was just one day Lynn decided to like Lynn felt a breeze and just poked the head out and was like, hey, what's up?
That is canon.
It
now.
actually happened because Vic posted a picture of West, and I messaged you, I think, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, can I draw him?"
Oh yeah, and I remember it was because it was like my birthday, and you're like, "Oh crap,
Yes.
birthday art!" And so you messaged me like, "Can I draw West for your birthday?" And I was like, "Excuse me."
That's cool.
Oh my god, so that means my birthday is like our friend-iversary.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's kind of cool.
Oh my god.
That's kind of cool.
Oh my god. But we still didn't really talk terribly too much. But I remember Vic posting like, "Hey, this is my stream," so I hopped onto it and I started watching Sacred World.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing
Okay, that's cool.
that mad hustle on the Discord.
Bro, I really need to get up on that hustle. I'm so bad about whoring ourselves out, and apparently that's what you need to do in this day and age with the whole medias and everything.
Yeah, bro.
I pay an algorithm to tell me that 600 people watch my my typing of misspelled words onto Facebook and or Instagram, and they didn't at all. But I still pay this algorithm to tell me that.
Hey, if you ever need somebody to write text for you, I'll do it.
I make Vic do it for me all the time.
I did. Yeah. I need it every single day of my life, and I needed it since I was in junior high. Where were you, Vic?
So here's the thing. I didn't exist until maybe 4 years ago.
That is true. That's these are facts. Yeah.
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 That didn't exist till like 4 years ago.
Fun fact about me: I was held back in the 4th grade because my teacher said, "quote unquote," he is stupid.
Oh, I want to fight that teacher.
He is stupid. He cannot read, and I didn't know. This is when I was learning how to speak English, and I have dyslexia, so I can't read or spell word shit. And I was still
learning a new language while having dyslexia. That's a fucking feat.
Yeah, and so my teacher's like, "Oh, he's stupid. He needs to be held back a grade." And I was like, "Okay,
all right,
I guess."
Yes, you're correct, but you're not.
You're a professional educator. But yeah, so
not a nice word.
Speaking of people saying dumb things, I'm gonna give out a warning because we're gonna get into some real conversations.
Oh yeah, let's do it. To get that warning, bro.
This might sound kind of targeted against Christianity, but it's really not meant to. It's just you guys said a lot of bad things about our favorite game. At the beginning might sound like that, but like whatever. So, speaking of Christianity, did you guys know? Fun fact.
What up?
That when we were starting out back, because Colton is a very serious Christian boy. Jeremiah is a very serious Catholic boy.
I was raised Catholic, but that didn't go very far.
Yeah.
I grew up with nothing. I
Look at you.
And now you're a bog witch. I'm so proud of you.
I was raised Catholic, and I was called a Satanist, and I was forced to read the Bible with my principal in junior high because I was a Satanist. My family hated me, and then they're like, "Oh crap, you don't have any like drug addictions or any violent records or ever went to jail, and you like went to college and have a job and are not violent and love people. I guess we misjudged you." Because you listen to that Satan rock, and I'm like, it's called metal, thank you. But yeah, that's all right. This, no, but at the beginning,
a metal band.
I mean, I have I've been in a metal band longer than I've played D&D, or I've been involved in metal music longer than I played D&D. So let you know that.
Now you got a D&D character that's in a metal band.
Yeah, my dream has come true. I have combined both.
The worlds have combined.
When we were starting Divide and Conquer, like when we were getting like the OG crew, I did not know that everybody was like super hecking freaking like Christian, like oh my Jesus.
Oh no.
Like, I was raised and the Lord and Savior comes first before anything else, and I was homeschool raised with Jesus, and the two people were in like Jesus clubs and like went to big mega churches Jesus clubs, and I'm like, I have a Behemoth shirt on, and like I have a shirt that says love Satan. Does this offend you? Because if it does, I won't wear it because that's rude. But like, hell Satan, what up? And they were like, no man, that's your decision. That's totally what you want to do. Like that doesn't harm us. You're a good person. I'm like, oh my god, you're sweet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then life happened, and only Colton survived. The rest of them are
the only one, the sole survivor.
Colton is the sole survivor. I don't know if his decision was a good one or not. I guess we'll ask him if he regrets.
We'll ask him Friday.
We'll ask him, did you regret your decision? Maybe Ariel.
Ariel might.
Ariel might regret the decision. Like, oh, not again. I could have just stayed in Mount Celestia and this would have all been over.
Paylor, why?
Paylor, why did you do that?
I need to make him his little Ariel Paylor, please sticker.
Paylor, please. Paylor, please.
Paylor, please.
So, we're gonna. Sorry, I like to rant. We're gonna start from the question is, from Satanic Panic all the way to Stranger Things, is Dungeons and Dragons cool now? Are we part of the cool club? I have never been part of the cool club, so I have my theories, but I don't know.
What a cool club is.
Let's discuss this.
Okay. My other quick messy answer for that.
Yeah. What up?
In my general opinion of everything, because now that I had a minute to sit and think about it some more, so I don't see it as we're the cool club, but we're certainly the marketable club.
Yeah. I have a little hypothesis.
As somebody who kind of double majored in cinematography and advertising.
Oh.
We're certainly on the track of we are marketable and making people money.
Yes, I nerds have always been a marketable thing because it targets a specific audience.
Which is hysterical because people use it to use nerds as a market source for mainstream consumer, but they have yet to figure out how to market to nerds.
Yeah, actually,
we spend lots of money.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that a little bit later, but yeah, 100% agree with you. I like going chronologically. If you guys don't mind, let me read a thing to you.
Yeah, read to me.
I'm gonna misread everything. So
that's fine.
Great, we're here for it.
Dungeons. What's up?
As I say, want me to make you feel better?
Yeah.
In every iteration where I have West in a modern AU, he has dyslexia.
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, that's cute.
Yep.
So he can't read. So it's okay.
It's okay, bro. I know you got the thing where you can't read very good.
You get the thing with the words, and it's like I know.
The letters kind of like bounce back and forth. I don't know. My eyes don't work well, I guess. So there's things like the Dark Dungeon. There was things like what was the article name? Somewhere on here. Straight Talk about D&D and other articles like that popped out everywhere in like the early 80s. Yeah. So again, we're gonna use a little bit of like big boy words here. Put on your girly panties. Put on those things because we're gonna say a word that I don't like saying very often.
Don't tell me what to do.
All right then. So, and I quote: Dungeons and Dragons, a fantasy role-playing game in which uses demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, and blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, because homosexuality is a sin, prostitution, satanic-type rituals, gambling, barbarianism, cannibalism, sodomy, deception, demon summoning, necromancy, divination, and many other teachings.
Is this where I call bingo?
So
Yes.
this
call
sounds like
bingo.
the Crusades.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just the Crusades.
This was published to educate people on the horrors of D&D. Because there's been continuing on reading, there's been a number of deaths nationwide where the game, like Dungeons & Dragons, were either the device of factor in establishing the suicide or the murder, or the played a major faction in the violent behavior of such tragedies. It goes on and on, pretty much saying that that D&D will lead you to suicide because of the role-playing behavior that it modifies who you are.
Woof.
This was a thing. D&D is bad. There is a 60-minute special on D&D 1985 telling you, yo, this is bad.
Faces and Monsters, anyone?
There was also a TV movie with Tom Hanks, and
Yes.
that also warned about the same thing too.
Yeah, and that movie has a Tom Hanks acted the hell out of that movie because we reviewed it.
Act the hell out of everything he does, and I love him.
He did a great job. I mean, you're an actor. You're not the writer. You're not the director. You were told what to act, and he did a great job at it. And it depicts mental illness really badly. That's another critique on Hollywood that they're still not getting right. I think the last Joker movie was probably the closest, which still does not really have a good thing to say. Do you have a mental handicap? You are bad. You will commit crime.
I remember when that movie came out, and I commented to my brother on it. I was like, okay, so there's one of two things are going to happen with this movie. Either it's really going to hit the mark on what it's trying to say, or it's going to just completely tank it again and just not do what it's supposed to, what they're intending to do.
I know, Dickie, you've I'm glad that you're finally here.
He has arrived.
He has arrived.
I apologize for my tardiness.
No, you're good, man. I know work kind of switched the schedule on you last minute. We're reading this. We're looking at this and laughing at it. Like back in the day, where real topic nowadays. Hey, we can't mix race because that's bad. We look at it nowadays and that's the stupidest thing you could ever say. This man loves this other man. That's awesome. That's great. I'm happy that they're happy. This person wants to transition to another identity. That's totally fine. These things aren't bad. You like D&D. You like football. These are not bad things. But anything that you listen to metal, you listen to rap, you listen to hip hop. These are not innately evil things, but they're targeted really easily. We look at this nowadays and we're like, obviously, but Dickie, you literally lived through this. What's your take on that?
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, some people get on a platform and then they'll kind of, say, well, this is bad. And some people are natural followers. They'll listen to it and say, okay, it's bad. There's the thing I sent you guys on the fandom, on the history of D&D, the reporter that was trying to find out information about it. She had a lot about mazes and monsters, and also the 60-minute and stuff like that. It was, at first it was kind of like a college game. First start off, college players started playing it, stuff like that. And then it filtered down to high school. And then they had some problems with it because some people didn't know how to separate reality from fantasy. And their lives, I guess, were so they wanted their fantasy to be their reality. And so naturally people say, well, this is a satanic thing. This is, because some people took it to that. D&D is a game that you can take it as one. As long as, the people in it.
You're cutting in and out real bad.
And I think that scared a lot of people. Because don't forget, around the same time all this was happening, that came out, that literally scared the sheep
something just came out around this time. That's all I heard. I'm sorry.
It scared the shit out of people. That was my interpretation.
Yeah. From what it sounds like, you're saying is that because again, sorry, because you were cutting in and out, just connection issues, I guess. Did you ever experience anyone who was taking this way too, I guess, literal, that they were quote unquote summoning the devil through their role playing, or was it all just media exploitation?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Right now, so
Yeah. Okay.
I see the ring moving, but I hear nothing. What about you guys?
a lot of it is exploitation,
Okay.
because of The Exorcist coming out, his baby.
Yeah. The Exorcist was a.
Because this is not working.
The Exorcist was a huge movie, which I still love so much. But like, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think we're losing him.
No.
Oh,
Alright.
God.
Oh no.
We'll whenever things are fixed, we will still be here. Don't worry, Dickie. So like
Can
going.
you hear me now? Hello.
Yes.
Yep.
You sound very
Okay.
clear.
Okay. Yeah. Switch phones.
Use that phone
What I
forever
would
now.
think is that a lot of things were coming into play in that situation.
Mhm.
The game started having problems where people were killing each other over it, was because some people felt like it was their reality. Their fantasy became their reality. And then people were scared about The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby. So that kind of set the background of people being, well, the D&D is devil worship. You summon the devil and bad things happen to you. That was like the urban legend that you're supposed to look in the mirror and say something so many times, and then the devil's supposed to appear or stuff like that. People were into that. And,
Oh my goodness.
and then people, the religious right jumped on it and said, well, this is the worst thing in the world it can be. And the conservative right jumped on it. Well, this is horrible. So it basically
Oh.
underground game.
Yeah.
That basically it was kind of like think of the French during World War II, Nazi occupation. The Nazis showed up, they're covering everything up. You can't see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's basically how people were playing it. So it took a while for it to get out of that.
I know that Gary Gygax was interviewed several times about, because like
Yeah.
as an example, like Lamashu. That's a very big thing in our campaign.
Oh, yes.
Lamashu's an IRL thing. Like so, those things leading back to first edition. You're like, are you trying to summon the devil? And it's like, no, these are just like there's no real link to the real world. Also, the people that were saying all these negative things, it's the idea of demons and angels are very real to them. That is part of their religion. So they're going to take these things very seriously, even though there's no legitimacy to these claims. Take that specific statement as you will. Not trying to target anybody. And like going on with like all these bad claims, specifically with like things like Mazes and Monsters. There was an article called "Straight Talk About Dungeons and Dragons," written by William Shockhebelim. I can't pronounce his name. But essentially, the most like I'm gonna probably read from the like in. I guess in order is just the easiest. The article specifically had details like, is D&D a deadly game? This is why it's deadly. Things like, quote here, though boys throw stones at frogs in sport, that frog dies in earnest. So it's saying like, yes, people go into D&D not really wanting to summon the devil, but they're actually summoning the devil. Things like D&D is pretty much brainwashing yourself. The game is specifically targeted to survive on this like theatrical world, and you're like brainwashing who you are. D&D specifically teaching Clash Wars and dividing us. D&D, and it goes to the most disgusting thing in this article, which is called the Hall of Shame, and literally lists 11 people who committed suicide targeting to D&D. Things
That's
such,
awful.
You're calling suicide is a horrible thing, and you are shaming them. Like that's outrageously offensive. things such as like I'm not going to say any of the names out of respect, but things like, oh, this person committed suicide, and their witnesses saying that as they shot themselves, they were literally trying to summon the devil. Witnesses saw this person summoning the devil before they blew their brains out. What? People read this and think it's true. Let's fast forward 15 years later. The bro, I'm going to read, and I quote, listing things like, hey, rewriting a new article saying, should a Christian play Dungeons and Dragons? As I'm scrolling down to the bottom of this longer article,
Which, I mean, outside of the players I know in Sacred World, I know many a Christian that play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's just a fun theater of the mind. Like
It's a game.
Yeah. Apparently I don't have the thing that I thought I had. Oh, I re-put the article twice. Okay, here. In things for defending the game on why Christians should play Dungeons and Dragons. Here's the important topic, the only one that really matters for our conversation, because this kind of explains everything. And I quote, D&D materials do not say the things in which the older article says they say. In other words, I made everything up.
Whoops.
Well,
like that's. But this is marketable. We don't have fact checking. We don't have people that get offended by fact checking. Like back in these days, like you say something, it happens. I've seen police videos, more modern topics, that literally quote unquote show you how to track a Satanist, show you how to track a role player for the police to identify them.
Yes.
Like,
is there anybody out there?
Oh no!
No, can you hear us, Sticky? No. Oh, hopefully, he can hear us. And like this shit was like legitimately targeting people. The Dark Dungeon is an actual comic that exists that explains that if you play D&D, you're going to kill yourself. That is the only outcome of it. A priest has to exorcise the D&D demons out of you and make you lose the lunacy of the monster manual, quote. Like, these were real things.
Oh my god.
And now, looking at it, it's I think it's funny because the original Dungeons and Dragons causes moral conflict and protest article, that iconic image of the Lich that was used on this newspaper back in '81 is now a trademark for a clothing company. Like how absurd is that? My mom knows more about D&D. Mind you, that 15 years there's been a game once a week at her house for 15 years. And she knows more about D&D by watching Stranger Things than living in her own home where the games were taking place.
Whoops.
Because she's now obsessed with Stranger Things because I told her how to put it in Spanish on Netflix. She's like, oh, now I like the show. Like, yeah, of course. And it's like, Mama, you saw us when I was the freaking in high school playing it right here. Like you were there. You were in the kitchen listening to us pretend to be dwarves for 5 hours. What? Okay. What did you think it was? Oh, I don't know, Miko. Like, all right, whatever. So
you're
like
David Harbour. That's what.
Yeah. So like with all these thoughts, D&D was a bad thing. D&D was the worst, right?
Do you know when it turned a corner though?
No. What?
When it became a Saturday morning TV show for kids.
Oh.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I just watched an episode.
At
of
that
and
point,
the
it became
cracked
friendly.
me up.
It became kids,
That's
Parents
a
started
good
watching
point.
with their kids and started realizing this ain't all so bad after all.
I love that in the first episode they defeat Tiamat.
Yeah,
My
the first
Like-
episode, Tiamat. Second episode, Loth. I'm like,
Yep.
are you? Oh my god, their challenge ratings are so high. How?
Well,
What
you
is
don't-
this party?
Hey guys, here's the thing. Maybe don't watch that show. I don't need you guys getting tips and tricks
Oh.
to defeat
Oh.
Tiamat.
I say bring back the acrobat.
The acrobat is a great class.
Acrobat.
Now,
Uh,
would you like a side note on that?
yes, please.
Yes, please.
Please.
There's a plan to make it into a movie from the TV show.
I
Oh
hope
my
so.
God.
That would be great.
Lord.
I would love the heck out of that.
They are planning to make a movie out of it and using the theme of the Saturday morning.
Oh, that's
Oh my god.
There is an actual D&D show, movie. Sorry, like not the one with the Williams brothers. There's like an actual, even though yes, D&D licensed that one. There's a non-popularized, straight to video cassette D&D movie where it's legitimately D&D characters from 3.5's handbook. Like the actual cleric is there. They actually fight a lich dragon, like a Draco Lich. Like these are real. Like this is a legitimate D&D a movie, and it's so bad.
I need to watch it.
Bad as in I love it, and it's a treasure to me. But working in film and story writing and publishing, oh my god, this is horrible. Why would you even publish this?
I need it.
We
I
should
just remember
review
playing
it.
the arcade game.
Oh yeah, yes.
The D&D arcade game. Yep.
Yeah, I think the elf was like the most overpowered character in that game.
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So it got popularized. It got accepted. Now to the point where like D&D has donated over $1 million to Extra Life. To Make a Wish Foundation. So many other charities that are using D&D as the marketing point. Like, hey, I'm a famous person. I'll DM you a game, a chance to win this raffle. Donate any money you can to this organization or this charity. We've done D&D charities. Like, it's such a great platform for good. It's a great release. There's even D&D books that are specifically written for learning disabilities to help kids come out of specific shells and like little gaps that they can't get out of in a just normalized like public education. So going from that to a positive place in the world, to things like podcasts and Critical Role. The question is D&D cool now? You have so many celebrities say that they play D&D. There is actual celeb DMing now. Like you have movie stars who are having their own platforms on D&D.
But they're movie stars who have been playing for a long time too, when they were young, since they were young.
Yep, that's true. Is it now that so? Here's where the thought experiment goes. Is it now that these guys have been playing for so long, and now it's acceptable for them to say, "Hey, I played this game," or is it because it is being nerdy is now the cool thing? Hot Topic used to be a place where showing my colors here. Hot Topic used to be a place where you go and you buy Cannibal Corpse T-shirt and like gore metal is being played in the speakers and nobody want to go in. Now Hot Topic
don't hurt me like this.
Now Hot Topic, it's all about the music. Now Hot Topic is a place where you go buy Supernatural fanfic, fan merchandise, like
probably fanfics too.
Oh, probably yeah. Or you go buy My Little Pony merchandise.
Yep.
And like the only
And all the
real
fan stuff is like shoved in a corner way in the back, and you're like, "Ugh."
Yeah, they're all the band stuff is always in the back. All the pop culture stuff is in the front.
Yep. I'm sad now.
Yes. So like I'm reading my notes and
I remember, like when Hot Topic first came around, like fighting tooth and nail just for me to go into that store, and the answer is like, no, you can't. That's not a good place to go. And then now we can just walk in and it's no big deal. And I'm like, bleh.
Well, I have a hypothesis, and it's kind of out there a little bit.
No.
This is where we talk about it. Let's get into it.
Don't forget. Okay, so we started off in the 70s, and then it started building up, and you had some suicides, you had a movie, you had religious right, then it started to become a bad word. So now everybody kind of went underground. So everybody had, well, what else can we do? So then what started coming around about that time? Video games. Now, imagination, you don't have to have any imagination. It's already provided for you in a video game, and people went crazy over it, you know. But the longer they play, they start to realize video games are very limited as far as, you know, having options. You only have the option that they give you. And some people found that restricting. And I think, you know, then when people started getting back into D&D, and you know, they start Saturday morning, and then now they're starting to regular TV, the Big Bang, and all that. Then people started to see it in a different light, to where, you know, it's not so scary anymore. You know, it's basically allows you to use your imagination, which I think caused it to build it back up and cause the explosion to come out. And I just think that, you know, people want to be challenged. They like challenges. You know, we're a species that like to overcome things. And some people in real life have a hard time dealing with other people, dealing with situations. But in a game where the playing field is even, it all comes down to roll of the dice. It all comes down to making a decision. That makes it a little bit more enticing to get involved in. So yes, D&D started to become cool, but I think before it really, you know, once it kind of hit that cool status, then I think the curiosity of those that never played but have heard about it started to seek the game out.
I can definitely
and I think that's what's causing a lot of people getting into it.
Yeah, I can see that now that more time has been given out, and you've always heard of the bad thing. It's because relating it again, I think even though D&D is my life now, I would probably relate myself more to like quote unquote like a metalhead more than like a D&D player, just because that is a thing that I've done more in my life than playing D&D. And I remember like it's funny because like back in the day when the PMRC, it sounds a lot like what's been happening now. You know, like a little quote where Dee Snider was Twisted Sister. Like that's kind of like a band that, you know, you play at a yacht. Like you play. We're not gonna take it at parades. But back when Tripper Gore was running the PMRC, it was viewed as sadomasochism and bondage. These are bad things, and like they went to court and they said like, no, the lyrics are about surgery. You're specifically looking for bad things, so that's where you're gonna find in my lyrics. But it's actually about this throat operation. Sorry. I don't even curse or drink. So like you take what you will from that. Like D&D, I think it's going into that path of like a little bit. Maybe this makes sense. It makes a lot more sense to me to explain it this way. Like when someone tells me that they listen to metal music, and they list bands like Korn and or Incubus, and I'm like, oh, cool, you listen to metal? Here's Dying Fetus, and they're like, oh no, not that type of like metal. I'm like, oh, well then you don't like metal. Like Korn is not. We're not in the same. You like rock? That's fine. That's cool, but like, don't label yourself as something that you don't like. Goes into my thought of to why I wanted to have this conversation. And here it is. So D&D can be a lifestyle. You can make dice. You can manufacture dice rolls. You can make miniatures. There's DMs that get paid to go to conventions and DM. I mean, like me, Critical Role, one of the most successful companies out there, and it's all because of the love of D&D.
Yeah, they literally made a name for themselves
Yeah.
and were able to, like, because at first they were partnering with Geek and Sundry to do it, and then Critical Role became so big that they became their own company in itself, and so they're able to like create their own content that they want to do. They're publishing books, they're like creating like new stuff every day. It's absolutely bonkers.
Thanks to the addition to YouTube.
YouTube definitely helped. Twitch, I think, brought a lot of it to the forefront because of the you're watching it live with us. You're kind of playing with us. Little fun antidote, because I like branching off to these stories. Back when 4 years ago, when I wanted to do D&D as a platform to I didn't want to do it on Twitch. I wanted to do it on YouTube, and I was convinced to do it on Twitch because of the group that I was playing with in Austin. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is kind of what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. And then they'd say, like, oh, that sounds like Critical Role. I'm like, what's Critical Role? I'm like, Matt Mercer's like, oh, yeah, no, Matt. Like, no, you don't. Like, Facebook. Yeah, I know who Matt is. We don't ever talk, but I know who he is. What are you talking about? Look at this show. Oh, my God. That is amazing. That is what I wanted to do many years ago, and everyone laughed at me. And look, freaking the guy that did the Thundercats voice is now doing it. Yep. He is years ahead of me. Why didn't no one tell me we could do this?
Don't feel so bad. When I was a kid in elementary school and junior high, I was thinking that's when G.I. Joe came out. I couldn't wait to have little Marvel figures that I could play with. But they didn't have them around then. Now, boom, you can go to any toy store, they're there.
Yeah, no, I love, and I think that's a great point. Because what I'm going to say might sound a little bit negative, but I don't mean it entirely negative. I just want a grain of salt to be pulled from it. Where I think it's not what's it called? The gatekeepers, I think.
Gatekeepers.
D&D is this way, and we can only play it like this. If you're not truly a nerd, then you cannot play our game.
I will go into a hard rant about gatekeepers.
And it's like people are mad that you can buy the monster manual at Target, and like, why? I like that book. I want it to be able to be accessible to more people.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I remember. Oh my god. Like I remember. I had the hardest time trying to find a goddamn D&D manual. Like I remember the one time I found it was because we as a family took a trip all the way out to Spring, Texas, and they had one tiny game shop in that whole square, and I found my book.
Yes, at the Portofino. Yes,
Target.
Yes, that's where I bought my first mini.
Yes,
that was the only place that had them. There was a small little section with like 10 miniatures, about 5 sets of dice, and like 2 of each set of books, and they would only get a shipment once a month for replacement of the exact same things that they had. So, like, you only had a very limited option of miniatures. It was just the basic 3 books, and, like, you only had 5 choices of colors for dice. Like, yeah, like, I remember those days. And now, like, you can go to Etsy and get so many custom-made minis, or there's so many different companies that are making miniatures or dice, and you can get special engravings. Shout out to Tattle and Claw.
Now you got 3D printers.
Actually, not joking. Right now, thanks to Trent, we are testing our first 3D printed terrain.
Nice.
Which eventually, when the Backstreet Boys reunion tour is over, we'll be able to play at the studio. But yeah, so jumping back to many people, it's accessible to everybody. Many people play it, and there's shows about it. There's careers for D&D. It's accessible. You can explore D&D as much as you want. But here's my thing: is it cool yet? It's everywhere. You can, and everybody. How many people that on your Facebook play D&D? How many people talk about it? We have an entire podcast right now about this subject. Is it cool? I don't think it is. It's still not cool. I will explain it in this way, and please rebuttal where you see fit. We're not cool. We're people live vicariously through us. It's fun to say that you play D&D. Why do I say that? Still, to this day, you can have an entire room dedicated to an NFL team. That's perfectly fine. You are an adult who works at a job. You have sports memorabilia throughout your entire house. You have a husband and or wife. You have kids. That is acceptable. I still have family members telling me, why are you wasting so much room on toys?
Yes.
Like, well, I like these minis are kind of expensive, and like I spend a lot of time painting them, and like, look at this cool terrain piece. It looks like a jungle. Like, yeah, can't you just shove it all in a box?
No.
Like, also, aren't you too old to be playing with toys? Like, you don't even like, bro. This is in the conversation right now. Going on and branching from there, shit that I seen, and everybody will be anonymous because I think that's only fair. Things like this. I have so many friends on every branch of social media that post D&D memes.
Yes.
They're like, man, today was like a nat 1, or they're talking about like, oh god, I can't wish to get back on the table or whatever. And those exact people, I'm like, bro, want to play a game? Oh, I don't have time. Okay.
Oh my god. No, because I remember
later, you want to play a game? Like every single and I branch back and forth between social groups because every 2 years all my friends abandon me. It's getting close. You guys will learn that I'm a big jerk one day.
I'm gonna fight you one day, Jesus. Okay.
All right, let's do it. Let's brawl. I'll open up the ring.
Give me 2 years. I'm waiting to get my weight.
Every social circle that I've been in, I have taught them how to play D&D. And as soon as we stop really becoming friends, they stop playing D&D. But they still talk about as their D&D players, which is totally fine. I don't actually know that they do or do not play D&D. This is me putting words in their mouth. Totally, that's what I'm doing right now. But it's like, hey, want to talk about the game? Want to talk about this specific subject? Want to actually play a game? I have no one to play with. Do you want to play? Oh, no. Or you play one game and then it completely never happens. The DM is not really there. Nobody's taking this seriously. It's just an excuse to hang out and drink beer, which is totally fine and that's how you play your game. But seeing it so constantly, as in like, I play D&D to others, but don't actually play D&D in real life. This is 100% throwing shade at somebody. But like Ben Diesel. Ben Diesel says he plays D&D, and I don't doubt that he doesn't play D&D. But when he's asked by the Hollywood circle of D&D players to come to the table, he never shows up. A lot of those people are his actual friends. He never shows up. What up, Ben Diesel? Go play D&D. I don't know. His biceps will like destroy me. But
would you say that basically a D&D player could be one of many levels? In other words, not levels of their character, but I mean, there could be the beginner, there could be the person that's getting into it, there could be the person that's been into it, there's the person that I mean, you could say the same thing about poker.
Yeah,
people play poker. People play poker just, get some friends, have some beers, just play nickel poker. And you got people who go to Las Vegas play millions of dollars. Some people are super serious about it, and it's life and death. It's their livelihood. It's basically their livelihood, and that's the way they do it. There's some people play it just in passing.
And I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with either one.
100% right. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you playing the game every once in a while. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you playing the game super, as long as understand your finances and stuff, and don't be one of those gatekeepers. There's absolutely nothing wrong. You're enjoying a game, and that's what it's meant to be, to enjoy, to have fun, to explore and create, and have a good time around your friends. Whatever that means. Our table is not the same as anybody else's table. The beauty of this game is that you live this awesome experience, and you had fun with your friends. That's totally cool.
And I think also that somebody that's that thinks about themselves solely on D&D is a troubled person because D&D is a community game. Basically, you got to be with a group of people.
Yeah.
And your group depends on your outlook to how D&D should be seen. I mean, take our group, for example. Yeah, we enjoy it. We love it. We look forward to Fridays or whatever days we play together. We enjoy the camaraderie. We enjoy the laughter, the fun that we have with it. We've had people play and disappear. Nobody said a bad word about them or anything like that.
Yeah.
That was their choice, and we accepted them as they are.
Completely.
So I think it's basically, in my opinion, our group's a lot better than society is today. We get along and we, move on.
Yeah, it's live and let live. As long as there's no actual harm coming to you, like if I'm ever overspending and like cannot pay my rent because I'm buying miniatures, please have an intervention with me.
Right.
Like that's like.
Okay, Jesus, can I get your bank statements, please?
So basically, we're going to get all the miniatures around you in the chair and says we're going to have an intervention.
Every single mini around me, all the dragons looking at me downward, like, you have a problem? No, yeah, I completely agree. I think that's.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that and I used to do this as a teacher when I was teaching science. I'd always ask the kids on the very first day of school how many people like science, and some people raised their hand. And I said, how many people hate science with a deep blue passion? And I always had a number of hands go up. And I said, okay, cool. Tell me what science is. Well, they couldn't. I said, so you're prejudiced. And they don't like to be called prejudiced. But I said, prejudice is not understanding something. And because you don't understand it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think D&D gets that sometimes, that people don't understand it, but since it's D&D, they don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple prejudice.
No, agreed. Yeah, and it's not for everybody, and that's totally fine.
Right.
And with everything that's been said, that's why I feel that D&D is not cool. It's not. But it is cool to know of it. You're living vicariously through the game in the grand scheme of things. Like the TV shows that play D&D, all the jokes about D&D that are throughout everything. Like it's you need the nerdy character. It's part of a regimen. You need. This is like overblowing it, but like you need the nerd, you need the jock, you need the slut. Like you need these characters in your shows. You need these characters in your stories. So you always have the nerdy guy and the nerdy thing that we can always make fun of because we know that it was silly to call D&D satanic. It's not a big hobby that a lot of people do, but it's a multi-million-dollar like fan thing. Like it is a thing that people live vicariously through, and that's what I was saying. Like I have a lot of friends who love D&D. D&D is their passion, but they never play a game. They don't talk about actual experiences about D&D. They talk about D&D as a subject. Not as an act. And I'm like, oh, cool. You wanna? And this is just me being salty. Like, bro, you love D&D so much, and I get it. You don't have time to play. But we have a podcast, literally several D&D shows a week. Oh no, I don't have time for that. But Critical Role. Oh, I love Critical Role.
Oh my god.
Name one thing about Grog. You can't. So it's. I think it's the same thing as like. Me having family members who are like, I love the gays, just not the flamboyant ones. I'm like, dude, you can't live. You can't say those things. You can't live in a world. Again, everything's with a grain of salt. You can't like say you're a nerd and love this passionate game, but never actually rolled a D20 in your life. But people yet do. There's so much D&D culture out there, and like. But people don't play it. And again, I am also a huge asshole who is saying these things because, just like Dickie said, maybe they play D&D like once, and then like every other time, like every other year or month or two, they get together and play D&D, and that's it. That's their extent. That's totally cool. That's why I say D&D is not cool, but it is cool to like it.
Yeah.
Then you got to define what's cool and what's normal.
Well, that's a
hard thing to define.
Yeah, that'll be a societal thing.
That's a lesson in sociology right there.
That is a. What?
Oh man, I realized I should have based my sociology paper around D&D because we were doing like a whole like a whole midterm on taboos. Damn it, missed opportunity.
What is the definition of pop culture? Should be the because cool also, I think is a relative term that we use in us 30-year-olds.
Yeah. Branching off, I was gonna say branching off your whole story of trying to find people to play D&D and like just seeing everyone posting on Facebook. It was amusing to me because I know during that time I was also posting the D&D memes because I was like, I hope somebody who plays D&D notices me.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, bro, you want to play D&D? And I was like, yes, please.
I think that so modern popular culture transmits via the mass media and aim particularly at young people, such as fashion, music, ideology, pop culture. Pop culture, sure, cool. So essentially, it's what is hip. What is the young generation doing according to this definition? And video games are a great pop culture thing. Like I was part of the first South by Southwest gaming, like back when it was a Screenburg. Like these are coming into effects. What is now hip, like, and eventually it won't be, and it'll be a new thing. I don't know. It'll be like psychedelic wave pattern drugs that you sniff through a scratching thing through your tablet. I don't know what the future is. But
that's a new type of ASMR I've never heard of.
Right? Yeah. I think D&D is part of pop culture, but it's one of like the lower things. Like TikTok is pop culture. Vines was pop culture before it got bought out.
This might be the old person in me that's finally coming forth, but I don't understand TikToks. I'm sorry.
I don't either.
I think that there's a challenge that you can emerge from it. Something like Vines. Mm-hmm. I think TikTok would be more you do something that will get eventually somebody else will react to in a way to the original TikTok, say a dance or a quote or something, and that branches out more, and it's a community collaborative video that extends more than what you originally the creator of said video did, which is an amazing idea. But people just shake their asses to it to fucking music, and that's really boring.
Yeah, they do like weird edits that make them move like demons, and it creeps me out.
I like it when someone moves like a demon.
I know, I do too. But like they're doing it to like do like funky dance. I'm confused. I'm scared and confused.
I'm scared of this youthful dancing.
Stop dancing like a demon to Toxic.
Look, there's okay.
This like, gyration of the youth.
I have a very sensitive visual thing, so I'm like, once something moves a certain way, I'm like, no, I can't.
That's I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of Vines because the challenge of trying to make a story within 6 seconds is, I think...
Vines were cool because they were like, you only had 6 seconds to do it. TikTok, it's like, what, 90 seconds?
Yeah,
you have like a million years to make a video, and it's, I don't know.
And Snapchat's just for boobs. That's all it is.
I don't even have a Snapchat.
Yeah. I don't use Snapchat either.
I know I used to have a Snapchat, but that was like in college because everybody I ever tried to get a hold of in my college courses were like, oh yeah, just add me on Snapchat. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get a Snapchat because that's the only way I can contact you because you don't want to give me your actual phone number.
Yeah, I tried doing the Snapchat for a while, and I tried
so hard, but I'm like, I can't get invested with those.
Yeah, and then I realized that all I was doing was just copying Casey Neistat. I'm like, oh, then let me not do that. That's not original.
I'm not gonna be a kid ever.
So, I think that was pretty much. Thank you, and I truly appreciate you guys being here and listening to me ramble on about my thoughts. This is probably my number one a guilty pleasure in life. Here, let me talk about something. You want to listen? It makes no sense whatsoever. Here's these rambled strings of thought that I'm trying to coherently wrap into a sentence.
Oh, bro, I'm totally listening because every time I'm working on something, I have to listen to something. So.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that I'm aiding you in your artistic endeavors.
Thank you.
You're
about to see a really good boy in a second. I'm doing some art right now.
Please send my way. Did you know that I absolutely love my friend's art? You guys are the most amazing peoples in the world because you can have a vision in your head and transcribe it through a medium, and
That
I
is
see it.
not true.
Hey, bro, I will
I'll stop
fight
you right
you.
there.
I will fight you to.
No, I'm saying we don't see anything in our heads. We see a cool pose on Google and we're like, ah, shit, that looks neat. I'm gonna draw that.
No.
Okay, all right, got it.
No.
That's how we operate.
Because like you know how it's always people get praised by, oh, you think outside the box. I forgot what called.
There's a box.
Yeah, there is a box and you think out of it apparently.
The box I take naps in.
Just squiggle it. In my criminology class, we were taking some like psych evaluation things, and I was told that I am extremely creative within the box. I'm not good at thinking outside the box. I'm great at thinking inside the box. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Teacher, I don't understand the question. I can never put Wes in an educational setting ever.
He was in a high school AU.
He was in the high school AU, but he struggled. Oh,
Did
God,
he graduate? Did Wes graduate? Is he still
no,
working
we never
on it?
finished it. We never finished, so he never graduated.
Oh, dang. All right.
He had a happy ending though.
Yeah, he did. He opened his own little bakery.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I believe education is
bakery.
for everybody, but don't stress out about the conglomerate corporation that is college and university institutions.
Yeah.
The
Agreed.
most
I'm having choice words with
admired.
my institution right now.
What's up?
I'm having choice words with my institution right now.
Yeah, bro. I hear the rant and I feel and I send nothing but love. The smartest words I've ever had by any educator is a professor that only wanted to be referred to as Tim because he hated when people said his last name. So I'm like, okay.
I too enjoy it when people call me by a preferred name.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, every single thing I am telling you is in that library and it's free and you can go learn it. You do not need to pay this money to learn this information. I do understand you need a career, and if this is how you get your career and you need to like invest in a loan, you're investing in your future. If you're not sure about it, don't pay it.
Yep.
Go read a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right.
People forget
And then,
that thing.
We at the Lone Star where I was going to, they specifically had a rule that you had to buy the newest version of the textbooks, and
Yep.
he was the only professor
Star.
on campus that was like, "No, that is extremely stupid. We have printers. I will
Lone
print
Star was a
you
scam,
out."
let's be real.
What's up?
I was like, Lone Star was a scam. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, it's totally a scam.
Yeah.
I have many friends who were like student aides or teach classes, and they're like, just use an older textbook. Instead of page 15, it's page 16. It's the only
Yeah,
difference.
just go to half price books. Half the time, people take it to that store because they get more money out of it returning it to the actual bookstore.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, the college
Yep.
stores.
Yeah.
I remember
I spent
investing.
$600 on this textbook. I'll buy it back for $10.
Yeah, no, exactly, 100% exactly. I remember in a math course, like the last one I had to do. I forgot what it was called. I don't know, like
I don't know. I failed
Algebra
math.
5 or some crap like that.
I failed all math courses. Don't ask me.
Same.
When I was done with it, we purchased 3 textbooks for that man's class. We never used a single one. And when we asked him the first day of class, do we need the textbook? His only reply was, you have to buy the textbook.
Ugh.
Like, okay, it's a math course. I assume we're going to be using it for like homework and stuff. That makes sense. Okay, here's, like Lynn said, almost $600 for these 3 books. Never used one. 2 of them never used. One was only opened one time to look at one formula. And like after 2 months, we're like, why did we buy the books if we're not using them? And he said, I am required to tell you that you have to buy the books. I am doing my job. Cool, you fucked me over for $600. Thank you.
Yep. I remember at the end of the year returning a textbook that was still in the plastic with the receipt, and they were like, "Oh yeah, here's $10." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's just horrible. That's just dumb. Capitalism,
It's
you
all
did it
very
again.
I've done it again.
But we need a bigger stadium because money.
And I told you. I literally told you.
Yep.
Money.
Because Lynn asked me how the Texas education system works, and I was like, "All right, here's where all the money is going. It's called football,
Yeah.
and then you can fight for scraps over everything else."
Is it Texas shaped?
Yes. The football
money.
stadium is in a Texas shape. And you have to wear a 10-gallon hat or you're not allowed into the stadium.
Yes.
I'll never
No.
forget that, Vic.
Yes.
Dude, we need like the art hall is leaking, and we could really use more than one camera for the photography courses. And hey, maybe we could invest into like some music rooms, so when someone's playing the piano, it doesn't just bleed into the cafeteria, or vice versa. When you're practicing the piano, you like the cafeteria just murmuring doesn't bleed into your practice. And could like all the art classes not have just one little like tiny thing? Football! Oh, okay. All right.
Football.
Football.
That dang foosball right in your brain. I love when we go into different tangents.
No, it's good. Good tangents.
Yeah. But any final thoughts about anything that we've discussed?
Texas educational system.
Texas
shambles.
educational system equals football.
It's in complete shambles.
Uh,
Look, I have both parents that have been in the Texas education system. Let me tell you.
That's why we never made you guys become teachers.
Exactly. You're like, don't be a teacher, and I'm like, okay, I'll never be a teacher.
Word of advice: if you do want to become an educator, at least have a minor education.
Yes.
Guess what I was not told when I was doing
Exactly
my
that?
entire university? Yeah. I was like, I want to be a philosophy professor. I'm 18. And they're like, that's cute. You should major in philosophy. Okay, what can my minor be? I don't know. What do you want? I really like running and lifting weights. Great. Do health. Okay. Fast forward 4 years. Your complete schedule is messed up. You cannot do anything with the philosophy degree, not even teach philosophy. You don't even have a minor in education. What have you been doing? I don't know, like 4 years ago you told me this was cool. Like, nah, you're screwed. Okay.
Like, who told you that? You did.
Like, yeah,
No.
like you. No. Okay, I guess I'm dropping out because flip everybody off. I'm not gonna stay here for 2 more years to get a really crappy job, because the smartest professor I've ever met, who told me to read in the library instead of buying books here, also told me when I was like, hey, I'm like getting really close, I'm a senior now, like I'm gonna be an educator soon. He's like, cool, the next 4 years of your life you're going to be eating one pizza a day and living off your car, because that's what I did. And that's what every single professor here did that is in this hall of philosophy.
Yep.
Except for that guy, because he has money. I'm like, that sucks. Yeah, don't do anything else. You'll have more money. And you can still read philosophy books and have fun. Okay.
Hey, here's an alternate take. Hey, oh, you wanna get a BFA in art? You want a bachelor's of fine arts? Yes, please. I am of the artist persuasion, so I'm going to do art classes. Okay, here are 5 math classes. Here are some 5 advanced math classes you have to take.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
okay.
Oh,
But I'm not. It's art. What math? What?
money.
You have to take these,
I
or you're going
need
to fail.
money. That guy needs to throw a football. Give money.
Can you throw a football? No. Math.
What was?
I can draw a
Nerd.
football. Does that count?
Can you what?
I can draw a football. Does that count?
I can technically throw a
confusing.
football, but not as far as they want me to.
Is it John Maloney? What's his name? The comedian?
John Mulaney.
Mulaney. I love his take on the education system because he majored.
300.
Oh yeah, my college sent me a letter, and what did it say? Give us money.
Give us money.
Like it's been a long time since you clothed me, since you housed me and educated me. Give us money. It's almost like I gave you $150,000. I gave you $150,000 and you spent it already? Yeah. It's like, I gave you $150,000 and you told me to read these books and I did not. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how I feel.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've been ranting on enough. Apparently, a conversation about being cool led to education.
It led to some deep issues that were clearly the root of our problems.
That might tell you more about us not being cool and about the system itself not being cool or being cool. D&D,
is it cool? I don't know. The system will tell you.
All right, everybody. Last chance for final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I think some dice. Have fun, I guess. But
to each other. Please leash your animals in public spaces. Please. That's my PSA for the night.
Yeah. Just probably should have said it at the beginning, but I think I was just really excited about the topic.
I think it's okay to be excited.
Real issues happening nowadays that really need attention. Our platform is not really something that's, and I hate saying that a black person's life is a political discussion, but it is apparently, and that's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing.
There are real things happening nowadays. We're not a platform that really has those type of conversations. I don't think that I would put myself in a place that says I am educated enough to have those conversations just as a reactionary thing that people's lives matter.
Right.
So we're not going to take away from that, but that is real serious things that are happening. Please help out where you can. Please.
Yeah, I think best way to put it, because Aaron made a comment on Twitter about it, and he says Game Grumps is a brand. I am a person, and I am the person who is,
sure,
going on about everything that's going on. So
I think
same respect, we can say that as well. This is the brand. We as the people. Yes.
I that's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah.
I know Liam also has said things like, we're not here to have this conversation. If you want to have this conversation with me, meet me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Meet me, not the brand.
Yeah.
But so with that, please love each other. Please love each other. All right. Adios, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.